last year, their routes. Now they got to know a concept. You got guys like Frank, who's played Z his whole career.
Right.
You know, and it's always been on the right side. You know, Frank told me the other day, you know, I've never played with my right foot up. You know, so when you got habits like that for years and years and years, you got to break them. So I think the biggest thing is starting from ground zero. And then don't assume anything. You know, that's the dialed thing we try doing means is dial it all the way back. You know, talk about stance to start, talk about seeing the coverage, you know, talk about route conversions. Like, these are all things that's brand new to them. But, I mean, it's day 5, and I think we finally kind of started to see it turn. So, I mean, they're picking it up quick. Yeah.
Guys learn in different kind of ways. So, like, what are kind of your strategies around that? Like,
the biggest thing that I try to do is, like I said, kind of like the first question I said, I try not to assume anything. Like, obviously, we're going to have the walkthroughs, we're going to have practice, and, you know, I always try to make sure I cut up the film of just our mistakes, you know, and just talk about just things we can do better. But the biggest thing is, like, repetition, you know, like, see it in the classroom, see it in walkthroughs, see it in practice, and come back and watch it again in the classroom. You just keep doing it over and over and over and over again until you break that 3-year habit, you know, and that's been probably the most challenging part. But like I said, today they impressed me a lot today.
Right.
I was proud of the group today.
So you're seeing a good like progression from start to
Definitely. I mean, I think the first 2 or 3 days it was kind of a stall, like almost like a shock factor. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like you jump in that cold water and it's like, woo.
Yeah.
You know, but yesterday and today, I think you kind of started seeing them just play. And today was really good because I didn't even go on the field with them. I stood on the sideline. So it was real game-like, and they had to communicate. And that's the biggest thing I've been preaching to the group is you got to communicate. Like, we got to help each other out. You know what I mean? If one person knows what to do, tell him what to do. And let's get used to talking to each other and communicating. They didn't have to do that last year because they had a guy signaling them exactly what to do. You know, so trying to get us to be a better, you know, unified group and talk. That's the biggest thing.
Frank's always been that big play guy.
No doubt.
He's trying to round out his game.
Yep.
I know he's not been out there recently, but
correct.
What are like the things you're talking to him and the keys with that?
Biggest thing is, you know, we talk about his pad level all the time, like playing with his pad lower. You know, Frank is such a vertical guy all the time that he'll sometimes play straight up. So, you know, one big thing is his pad level. The next thing is just like down and down. Like Frank knows, you know, he's an older guy. He knows what he has to do. He feels it. He'll come to me and say like, I was high, or, you know, I got a little too wild. The biggest thing is him knowing it before the play happens so he doesn't even do it, you know. So I just try to talk a lot of football with Frank. Even with him being out right now, we talk football all the time. I mean, like, me and Frank talk in this building. When I leave, he's texting me. We communicate a lot. So he's taking a lot of mental reps, and he just kind of, you know, he's trying to just get it in his head that, hey, I got to work on these things. I'm good at this, you know, but I got to work on these things. And that's all we talk about. We don't even talk about the things he does good most of the time. We just talk about all the mistakes.
And then the route conversion stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
So there's been some miscommunications out there sometimes, or just guys seeing different
Just seeing it. It's not really a miscommunication. It's more big on just them seeing the coverage because last year they didn't have to. You know, last year they just ran their route. And this year, you know, the coverage can kind of dictate it, and, you know, we got to play football, you know, and that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to get the guys to understand is that, you know, in our offense we'll have answers for everything, but we got to make the answers happen by seeing it, you know. And like I said, we've been getting better at it. It's all new though. You know what I mean? It's a brand new offense, brand new splits, brand new concept, and then even seeing coverage is brand new. So everything is starting to come together. You know, I think day 5 was a good example. Now the challenge is we got to have a good day 6.
But a lot of upside when it does kind of all.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
If we're all on the same page and we're on the same page and we're seeing what Jaden sees, you know, like this year we kind of have to be the quarterback also, and that's what I keep trying to tell him. Like, it's not just on Jaden, it's on us too. You know, because if we don't see it, we leave him out to dry. So when it all comes together and we see it and he sees it, I mean, you see what the day will be like. You know, so and I think they're excited about it. They saw the benefits of it today, and I think they're excited about it.
And so, like, the responsiveness with them in the room, in skill development, all that stuff's going well.
Yeah, it's going great. I mean, obviously they're competitors, so the first couple of days they were frustrated. You know what I mean? More frustrated at themselves because we're talking about things, working on things, and then they're looking at it on film and they're like, dang, I'm still messing that up, even though we talked about it and worked on it. So they were competitive and they were kind of upset the first couple of days. But now as things, you know, I try as a coach to show them bad things, but then still show them like, hey, we did it right this rep and look what happened, you know. So they see that, and I think that now that they're seeing it, they're starting to buy in more. You know, once they kind of see a few things go right, then they start buying in, and I think that's what's kind of been happening in the group.
What have you seen just out of like Brendan Pierce so far? Just his
BP, I mean, I've seen a lot. You know what I mean? I challenged BP when I got here. You know, we're both from the same area. He's from South Central. You know, I was born in South Central before I moved to Carson. So, you know, the first thing I told him, I said, hey, everything you did last year doesn't matter. And, you know, I know where you come from, and I'm challenging you to be a different guy. You know what I mean? And for the most part, he's been there. You know, he's been more on time to meetings, and he's been earlier, and he's been watching more film. And honestly, he asked, kind of a joke in the meeting room, he asked so many questions in the meeting room, people just kind of be looking at him like, but I told him, keep asking questions because he's learning it, he's picking it up, he's playing faster, you know, and he's playing confident. You can see it, you know what I mean? He's playing confident, and I told him I'm challenging him on the field, and I'm challenging him off the field, you know, not to make the same mistakes he used to make, you know. So I think me coming in and kind of being able to reason with him, and because we both come from the same area, he kind of knows that I know what he's about. It's been me and him have a really good relationship, and I can tell him something and he doesn't second guess it. That's the best part about it, to be honest with you.
Have you challenged him to kind of step up into like a leadership role? He's like the oldest receiver in that. Right?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing I'm trying to challenge him is to lead by example. You know what I mean? Because every guy is not a leader vocally, and he'll naturally start doing that as he starts making plays. But you got to take it one step at a time. You know what I mean? And he has things still to prove on the field, and he knows that. So I challenge him individually first, and as he starts making plays, you kind of see his swagger and his confidence starts coming out, and he does start talking to the group. But I haven't challenged him as a leadership yet because I still want him to worry about himself right now.
Is it? Go ahead.
You've got a lot of guys in your room with a ton of speed, like Brandon, Jordan Porter. Is it tough to kind of get them away from just wanting to go the deep routes and trying to work in the intermediate and short stuff?
It hasn't been that tough because the offense is going to get them away from it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not just running go routes and posts, you know? So, no, not really. And to be honest with you, a lot of the group want to learn how to run different routes. I mean, they get it. You know, you're not going to go to the NFL and just run one route. You know, they know that. And they know, like, where things have hindered them in the past. And that hasn't been a challenge. You know what I mean? It's probably been a little bit of a challenge getting to learn the technique. But they've all been eager to learn how to do those things. So that part hasn't been a challenge at all.
Is this an offense where the H position can really flourish, just the way that moving around and kind of having people trail?
Yeah, definitely. I think the slot position could flourish, you know. But, I mean, I think Coach Hill does a good job with kind of moving everybody around. Right now, you know, we're installing. So we're trying to get plays in and we're trying to see how things look. You know, once we kind of get towards the season, I think you'll see a lot of different pieces moving around. I don't think it'll just be the H. I just think it all depends on the day and what our emphasis is. You know, he'll say, hey, this is the emphasis today. And I think we go out there and we try to, you know, attack that emphasis. And then it might be another day, it might be another receiver. So when we get closer to the game, I think that's kind of when we'll kind of have a feel of exactly what spot is going to flourish more.
Tweak it individually to the opponent.
100%. To that opponent and to our personnel. You know what I mean? Like, you got to remember, it's new for us. We're still learning personnel. Like, Keith Davis stepped up today. KD, I mean, you know, like, kid wasn't a scholarship kid, you know, and he wasn't getting reps. And then today he had to go with the twos, and the kid made the most plays. Like, I'm getting to know them just like they're getting to know me, you know. So for all of us, for me, Coach Hill, we're all getting to see what they can do. And that's the fun part about it, you know. So
appreciate it.
Good. No problem.